What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in a video. This time once again, we're going to look at two NBA legends and compare their best MVP seasons. And today, I've chosen Derrick Rose in 2011 and Russell Westbrook in 2017. Both these guys in their prime were must-see TV, they were highly explosive, and if you weren't careful, they would put you on a poster. So when looking at both Westbrook and Rose, they have some striking similarities as well as some major differences. In this video, I'm going to see which player had the better MVP season and who was better at their absolute peak. So without wasting more time, let's get into the video and look at our first MVP, that being 2011 Derrick Rose. Now to give you guys some context, the previous year, Derrick Rose in 2010 made his first All-Star game and the Bulls made the playoffs with a 41-41 record. They were a mid-tier NBA team and Derrick Rose was a mid-tier All-Star player. But in 2011, that would all change as Derrick Rose would absolutely explode and become an NBA superstar. In 2011, he averaged 25 points per game, 7.7 assists, 4.1 boards on 45, 32, and 86 splits. And Chicago had the best record in the NBA as well as the East, winning 62 games. Now when looking at Derrick Rose as an individual, he was first in offensive box plus minus, second in VORP, fourth in total points, and eighth in assists. Stats-wise for that season, Derrick Rose was the best point guard in the NBA and took a giant leap from 2010. And like always for an MVP, those stats are highly impressive. But for Derrick Rose, what makes it more impressive is the overall context surrounding his MVP, as Chicago once again had the best record in the NBA, which was a huge shock, as coming into the season, they are projected to win 47 games and the 12th best record in the NBA. And even more impressive than that, Derrick Rose carried this Bulls team through severe injuries. Joakim Noah missed 34 games, Kurt Thomas missed 30 games, and Carlos Boozer missed 23. Those are three big-time starters for this Bulls team that were integral to their core. So Derrick Rose, a 22-year-old in his third NBA season, carried this Bulls team. And one thing everyone forgets is how on fire this Bulls team was towards the end of the season. As in the last 23 games, they had a 21-2 record, winning 13 of the last 14 games. And D Rose in those games averaged 26, 6, and 3 on 45, 32, and 89 splits. And in that 23-game stretch, Chicago went from the 3rd seed all the way to the 1st seed. Now also one thing that's highly impressive is how Derrick Rose played in the playoffs. Versus Indiana, he averaged 27 points per game. Versus the Hawks, he averaged 30. Versus the Heat, he averaged 23.4. And in total, he averaged 27 points per game, 7.7 assists, on 39.6% shooting. He had 5 30-point games and 6 double-doubles. And even though Chicago didn't make the NBA Finals, they still had a very impressive run for a young core. And Derrick Rose, a 22-year-old, did all he could carrying this Bulls team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now looking past the playoffs, I want to look at Derrick Rose's accomplishments in the 2011 season. During this year, he was the only player top 10 in assists as well as points. He was the 3rd Bulls player ever to average over 25 points per game. He had 23 30-point games, the most since Michael Jordan. Also, this Bulls team won the most games for the Bulls since 1998. Also, he was the 2nd ever hometown MVP, winning it for his hometown of Chicago. And most importantly, he is the youngest MVP in NBA history at 22 years old. So that right there was the overall summary of 2011 Derrick Rose and his MVP campaign. And when it comes to this MVP, there's a lot of revisionist history, as some fans claim Derrick Rose robbed this MVP and he wasn't the rightful winner. But if you go back in the moment, what fans thought at the time, there was absolutely no debate that Derrick Rose was the rightful MVP. As during this year, Derrick Rose got 113 out of 121 first place votes. No other player had over 5. So that means D Rose in total had 93% of the first place votes. That is a runaway MVP, being borderline of unanimous. So Derrick Rose once again had a very impressive 2011 season, and he was the rightful MVP. Now next up, we have 2017 Russell Westbrook. And coming this year, he had tons of motivation, as in 2016, Kevin Durant left him in the offseason to go to Golden State. And at this point in time, the majority of the media, as well as fans, wanted Westbrook to have a dominant season, which he definitely did. During this year, he put up insane numbers, averaging 31.6 points per game, 10.7 boards, 10.4 assists on 43, 34, and 85 splits. And we're looking at his ranks, he was 1st in points, 2nd in assists, 8th in steals, 8th in minutes, 8th in rebounds, and of course 1st in triple doubles. And speaking of those triple-doubles, Westbrook had some all-time great stat lines that look like video game numbers. He had a 57-point triple-double, the highest point total in triple-double in NBA history. He scored 51 points, 50, 45, 43, 41 twice, as well as 40. I mean, Westbrook this year was basically a my player in 2K going absolutely crazy on rookie mode. And if you want to dive even deeper into the stats, Westbrook this year had some all-time great historic feats. He had 7 straight triple-doubles, twice, both the second longest streak in NBA history. He had 5 straight 30-point triple-doubles, the longest streak ever, and back-to-back 40-point triple-doubles, one of only 3 players to accomplish that feat. And in total, he had the most triple-doubles of all time, breaking Oscar Robertson's record. And when talking about triple-doubles, they're synonymous with Russell Westbrook. And the thing with Westbrook this year, his triple-doubles, he was scoring 40, 30, even 50 points. It wasn't some measly 10, 10, and 12 triple-double. I mean, this dude was scoring 50 and 40 points and getting triple-doubles. And if you look back at the triple-doubles, Westbrook was once again insane, having 37 20-point triple-doubles, the second most ever, 23 30-point triple-doubles, the second most ever, and 8 40-point triple-doubles, the most ever, and lastly, 3 50-point triple-doubles, once again, the most ever. So off the raw stats, Westbrook had an absolutely dominant year. When you speak of 2017 Westbrook, everyone knows he put up gaudy numbers between the points, rebounds, as well as assists. But what they don't know is how good he was in the clutch and in money time. Looking at his clutch time scoring stats, last 5 minutes a game within 5 points, Westbrook had the best numbers in the league, averaging 6.2 points per game, which was first, and having 247 total points, which is also first. He had a plus-minus of 86, which was fourth, on 44, 33, and 85 splits. So Westbrook in the clutch was playing at a high level that very few any point guards have ever been at. Now unfortunately for Russ, his best teammates were Victor Oladipo, Enes Kanter, Steven Adams, Taj Gibson, Andre Robertson, and Doug McDermott. Without Westbrook on the floor, they were outscored by an average of 8.5 points per 100 possessions. And OKC won 45 games with the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Now, unlike Derrick Rose in 2011, Westbrook didn't have as much help, and his team didn't make it past the first round. But in this series versus the Rockets, Westbrook had an all-time great series when it came to scoring, averaging 37.4 points per game, 11.6 boards, and 10.8 assists. And in only a 5-game series, Westbrook had multiple big-time scoring games, having 51 points, 47, 35, as well as 32. And his 2 best teammates were Andre Robertson, as well as Victor Oladipo. Now for the best part of this video, let's decide who was better, 2017 Russ or 2011 D Rose. Now looking at this comparison of 2 elite point guards, I have 7 different categories to see who was better. The first category is overall stats. And for this category, it's really not even close, as Westbrook has better playoff stats, as well as better MVP stats. That's not an insult to D Rose, as 2017 Westbrook can fill up the stat sheet like no other. Now looking at our second category, we have advanced stats, which once again Westbrook has a clear edge on Derrick Rose. I won't waste much time, but just understand Westbrook when it comes to stats is simply unbeatable for an MVP season. Now looking at our third category, we have historic achievements, and both these players have some all-time great achievements. For Westbrook, he broke Oscar's record, and for D Rose, he was the youngest MVP in NBA history. And for this category, it's pretty tight, and you can argue both players. From my own personal view, I think Derrick Rose had the better all-time accomplishment from a historic standard. Now looking at our next 2 categories, they both go hand in hand, and that is winning as well as playoff success. And for both these categories, Derrick Rose easily beats Westbrook, as his Bulls team had the best record in the NBA and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Westbrook's Thunder didn't make it past the first round, albeit in the very tough Western Conference. Now once again, a 2-in-1 category that goes hand in hand, that is team help as well as competition. And for the team help category, I think it's pretty obvious that Westbrook had the worst supporting cast. Now I know Derrick Rose's team, they were injured and their starters missed major games. But even despite that, Derrick Rose's Bulls had the best defensive rating in the NBA. And if we're being honest, D Rose was an average defender at best, and not the big time piece of that #1 defense. But I think where I gave Westbrook the edge in this category was looking at his teammates' roster and the players he had supporting his scoring. I mean, in the playoffs, his highest scoring teammate was Andre Robertson, one of the worst shooters in NBA history. I think that right there speaks for itself and tells you all you need to know of the 2017 Thunder. Now also one category we have is overall competition. For this category, it's also very, very tough, as Derrick Rose played in a very good Eastern Conference. We had LeBron's Heat, the Big Three Celtics, we had Dwight's Magic, and some other mid-tier playoff teams. Now when looking at the 2017 West that Westbrook played in, that conference was stacked from top to bottom. At the top, we had the Golden State Warriors, arguably the best team of all time. Below them, we had the Spurs, James Harden's Rockets, CP3's Clippers, Gordon Hayward's Jazz, and then in 6th place, we had Westbrook's Thunder, who won 47 games. I think any rational fan knows Westbrook faced tougher competition in the 2017 West. That's not saying Derrick Rose didn't face good teams, but overall top to bottom Westbrook faced tougher teams. Now for my final verdict on who was the better overall player and who had the better overall season. When it comes down to it, I think Westbrook was the better overall player and had the better MVP season. Like I said before, his stats were off the charts, and historically, he had some big time accomplishments. His team as a whole gave him very little, and he was playing a stacked Western Conference. And for the most part, Westbrook carried this Thunder team for the entire season. So I think looking at both their bodies of work, Westbrook has a more impressive resume for the 2017 season compared to 2011 Derrick Rose. As always, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.